This one's been coming for a while. And I think it's finally time that we have a word about words. That sounded a lot cooler in my head, I gotta be honest. You know what really gets my goat? Is when just someone from out of nowhere will say, from like a position of moral superiority, that you cannot do this thing. No, you can't do that. You can't say that. They will just out of nowhere do that. And they will say it like they have some kind of definitive authority on the matter. Thankfully, though, there's nobody on YouTube who does anything like that.
Because just the other day, Dream decided that this was the year he was going to reappear, and he was going to do it with style, aka calling about 15 million people a slur. The R word, to be specific. A word famous for insensitive pricks using it because other people tell them they can't. Yeah, Chad, calling people that doesn't make you quirky or cool, it makes you a mean guy.
Oh, that's quite enough of that. You ever just see someone online and you're like, I don't think I'd get on with that person in real life? Yeah. That was Lewis McClung. This isn't going to be a video about him, necessarily. Like, if you don't know who he is, then don't worry about it. If you do know who he is, you might have an idea of why I'm saying that. Because he has had a few people recently kind of making videos about him and going at him for a multitude of reasons, but we're not here to do that. But I did want to use that one clip because it kind of highlights a mentality that really just annoys me. When you're talking with an individual, it doesn't really matter if, like, you agree between each other, oh, we won't say this because, one of us is uncomfortable with it. People have a right to be offended by whatever they want to be offended by, that's fine. People don't have to necessarily care about you being offended by it, or, like, if I'm offended by something, you don't have to give a shit that I'm offended by it. But we do have a right to be offended by whatever we want to be. The thing is, I don't think Lewis McClung gives a shite about the word retard. I don't think he could care any less. What he's actually doing there is moral grandstanding, or as the internet's called it for a while, virtue signaling. And he is doing it to try and, get morality points, to look like the good guy. When it gets to that broader type of thinking, that's where I start to have a problem with it, because that is effectively what this guy is doing. He is saying that we should never use this word. The guy over here who he's talking about has used the word. He is bad for that. Nobody should do it. He's decreeing this word to be cast aside, never to be used again. If it was just a situation where it was just one word or something, maybe still that wouldn't really matter, even on a broader sense. We all know, don't we, that's not what's happening. We're getting into a situation where, as time progresses, more and more words are becoming, if not unusable, they're becoming more controversial. And I don't think you have to look too far to see a very, very primary example of where it has become massively problematic. One of the main reasons I don't like it when we do sort of decide that a word isn't going to be used anymore is because it doesn't work. It does not work. What do I mean? Well, let me ask you this. In the last few months, have you heard anything or anyone be described as autistic? Now, that's a rhetorical question, because if you've been on the internet for the last few months, you almost definitely have heard the word autistic used to describe a whole slew of things. It's been happening quite a lot. The reason for that is that gradually, as time has gone on, people have realised, bit trickier now to use the word retard and everyone be okay with it. So they just replaced it with autistic. I'm sure that at some point in time, we'll get to a point, if we haven't already got there. I don't think we're there yet. I haven't really noticed it yet, but we may already be there for all I know. But we'll get to the point eventually where we'll start hearing, you can't say the A word anymore. And then they will move on to something else. And nowhere is this type of thing more obvious or prevalent than right here on good old YouTube. We've all noticed it. We've all seen it. Some of you who have been on this platform for a little less time, as like somebody like me who's been on here for longer than I care to admit, you might not believe it if I say to you that there was a time when on this platform you could not only say what you wanted and be okay, but you would actually benefit and thrive from it even. And if you don't believe me, you ever heard of this guy? He actually managed for a while to do things like that, and he would sail through the algorithm, do very well. Now look, Idubbz might have had certain issues where monetization became an issue or not. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he managed to get to the very, very top. Now, just as a side note, I know there's going to be some people who will say that that whole era of YouTube and the humor around it caused other problems in time. And I don't know how I feel about that myself, if I'm being honest with you. But I'm mainly looking at this just from the point of view of the creep of YouTube over years and how it's censored us much harder than anything that is in that clip there. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and try to defend everyone's right to say, especially one of the words in that clip. Although, there was something interesting that happened quite recently. But you've said...
Oh! Well, he gave me the R pass. Great! Let me get back in my retard bag now. I didn't want to be disrespectful there, Wheelie. I didn't want to disrespect, but since I got the R pass, and you know what? Since we're just... You know what, Wheelie? This is what I want you to do. If you see this, my dog, Steve, if you see this, I'm giving you the N-word pass. All right?
Thank you. Massively appreciate that. All right, well, in that case then, guys, I feel like I'm only going to get one shot at this. You know, the pass, from what I understand, is only worth one good go at it. So, you know, I might as well take a running jump at it, so to speak. So, okay.
Oh, no, you don't.
Maybe for the best I'll leave it, actually. I'll tell you what. Keep it in the back pocket for a rainy day. By the way, that podcast... actually really funny. I'm going to leave a link to them in the description. Yeah, go check them out sometime. Not now, but sometime. The reason I'm talking about this, though, is because I think it's time that we actually really do start to think about what we're doing on YouTube. When I got monetized, I was obviously very jubilant initially, but very quickly afterwards, one of my friends goes to me, "Oh, does that mean that you're going to start jumping through all of the word hoops that all of the other YouTubers do now so that you can actually get monetized?" And I obviously was aware of that already, but when he said that, I was like, that's a good point. Like, I am going to have to make that decision. And as many of you will know, I have fucking decided that I'm not doing that shit. But even so, it's definitely an issue where I don't blame anyone who does it. I don't. And it's getting to the point where adults on the YouTube can not talk like adults anymore. I thought a few days ago, while I was watching YouTube, I thought, because I'm going to be watching YouTube anyway, let's just take down notes and write down every time that I notice the person in the video not using the word that they wanted to use. So either bleeping it or more so replacing it with an alternative. And I just thought I'll do that for a couple of days, see what we get. And well, damn, I came across a few. Yeah. What is this? What the fuck is that? That's ridiculous. It's gotten to the point on YouTube where, even though it's a platform where, in realistic terms, it's meant to not really be for kids. I mean, there is a YouTube Kids, so I'm assuming that's meant to be the one for the kids, meaning that YouTube normal is meant to be for us who are not kids, right? But it's got to the point where we can't just say what we want to say. And I think that matters. Maybe I'm overreacting, I don't know, but I think that matters. And the reason I think it matters is because when we can't say what we want to say, even if it's just words, like not in general, but just words, it limits our creative expression. It limits our ability to be able to say things in the way that we want to say it. And when we can't say what we want to say, then we have to do stupid workarounds. And when we do that, it kind of just lessens the oomph of something we might be expressing. And so we can't be as effective with what we say. That becomes a bigger problem when you realize that we're on YouTube, and YouTube is such a big thing at this point that it really, if you want to be honest about it, it's where people go to express themselves in video form when they want to talk about something. And I mean anything. From McDonald's latest meal to, I don't know, conflict in the Middle East, and everything in between. And so people want to talk about these things, and they want to talk about it, and give their express opinions on these things, but they're constantly having to be careful about the way they say it, how they say it, what they say. And you might say, in response to me, oh, but Steve, people can still use these words. YouTube isn't going to cut the videos down if they say them. And I would say you are technically correct. It's not like there is hard censorship on YouTube where if I say the word retard, that video will get deleted. Of course not. What will happen, though, is that the person who owns the channel will find that they lose their monetization, or they have very limited monetization. It's not hard censorship, but what it is, it's soft censorship. I don't really like that term too much, but I can't think of another term for it, so we're going to go with that. It's soft censorship. It slowly has a cooling effect, where let's just say that I'm really, really wanting to do YouTube full-time as a job, or even part-time, but I just want to be able to express myself normally, right? Well, at some point, it's like, do you want to get monetarily rewarded for that? Yeah, probably. Okay, well, just so you're aware, if you do say these words, you won't be able to get any money for it. You can still do it, but you won't be able to get money for it. That's going to start to weigh on anyone's mind. I don't care who you are. That will eventually start to have an impact. Even someone like me, who I'm only doing YouTube for fun. Now that I'm monetized, there is that thing in the back of my mind where it's like, I could make money off this video if I just bleeped it, or I started to use one of those many words I showed. You know, let's just say, hypothetically, I was like, well, instead of saying what I want to say, I'm gonna, well, I don't know, say regarded. And by the way, the word regarded at this point has become so widespread that even when I hear someone say the word regard or regarded, I actually flinch, because like, oh god, I've got so used to the word regarded being used in place of retard that now when I hear regard, my mind just fucking, yeah, notices it. What really made me want to bring this up and talk about it a little bit was when I started to notice it was not only the YouTubers who were censoring themselves, but it was now also coming up in the comments. People in the comments on YouTube channels would start using the censored language as well. And so, if, just for example, there was a video about revenge porn, which, if you know about Destiny, that's something that's been coming up recently, you might find comments where people are saying revenge corn, and they're not thinking twice about it. They're saying corn instead of porn because the YouTuber is saying corn instead of porn, and over time, the commenters are thinking that's just the thing to do. And it starts to change the language. And maybe I'm out on my own here, but I think there's something a little bit nefarious about that. I don't like that. We should be able to communicate how we want. And I get that YouTube is in the situation where they want to appease advertisers. I do. But this is the same platform, lest we forget, that has hosted a lot of really bad stuff and still does to this day. But that's all fine because they don't say bad words. Now, I'm not going to go and highlight things and put them on this video because, quite frankly, this video is already probably not getting monetized, but I'd like to at least keep a tiny chance that it will. But there's all kinds of stuff you can find on this website, really monetized, but it doesn't use the language. That's all. And I'm sorry, but sensibilities haven't changed that much in the last decade. Yeah, they've maybe changed a bit, but because YouTube's got no competition, they don't have to stick up for the rights of the users at all. Because if I say to myself, to hell with YouTube, I'm going to go on another platform where I can make money making videos and I'll be able to say what I want. Where am I going to go? Rumble? Really? Like, where else am I going to go? No. The audience is on YouTube. The main audience is on YouTube. Everybody knows it. This is where you come if you want to actually grow and get your voice out there. But we're in a situation where if you want to talk on YouTube and you want to actually be monetarily rewarded for it, even a little bit, you're going to have to stifle your own language, you're going to have to stifle your own creativity, and you're going to have to toe the line. I just think that's a bit crap. I don't like it. And I really wish I could end this video with, like, a solution. I don't have a solution. I'm not that smart. But this doesn't feel right. Where we're at right now, I don't think this is where we need to be. And now that I am monetized, I am more aware of it than ever before. And yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.